And with computer audio. There we go. All right, there we go. Sorry. All right, now we're all good. Okay, welcome to 1000 Ways, the show in which we try and uncover one of the 1000 ways that Rumi said there are to kiss the earth. Rumi said there are 1,000 ways to kiss the earth. One of those ways is what we're hoping to discover today. This is my lovely bride, Carola.
Hello.
Carola is my sweetheart, my sweet pea, my honey bee, and she is going to share with us what we are doing in terms of our new world, our new Corona COVID-19 world. We've had quite a bit of a difference in our, what would you call that? Our sensitivity to this situation. And so we've kind of had to do a little navigation on that ourselves. Is that a fair statement?
Sure. I think what we found is I'm more sensitive to things. I probably have more anxiety. So you pretty much have to go for the weakest link, which in this case is me.
So anyways, it's a whole different world, right? So everything has really changed. How you're hanging out with people, how you're going and getting groceries, just even encounters when you go to town. What do you do, right? Those kind of things. So I thought that it would be great to have Carola on. Here's the reality of it. I basically stopped reading COVID stuff probably 2 weeks ago. And then I'm just kind of refocusing on things that I think that I have within my influence or within my control. Carola listens to COVID things continually still. Is that a fair statement?
Some. I probably backed off a lot now because it's getting to be overkill. And what I'm finding is the more you listen to, the more anxiety that you carry. So definitely I've been focusing more on the Alberta Corona, where they have, if you Google Alberta Corona, it goes to the health services part, and then you can see the latest information, which is accurate and reliable. So I try and do that more now than I did. At first I was listening, and then there are patients who were, oh, it was nothing, and then you have patients who die, and they were healthy, and they shouldn't have died. And so it can cause a lot of anxiety and worry if you get too much into the whole thing.
Ireland. Hey, Ireland. Mm-hmm. We were visited there. We're from Canada. Ireland was great. We had a great time there. Hence the Canadian flag, yes. And by the way, there's you might be seeing this on Twitch TV, and you're saying, isn't that Allan Acapellis guy? Same guy. We just thought, I might as well just broadcast it there as well when I'm doing this Zoom of 1,000 Ways.
May as well.
So the first part I think that we want to talk about is just basically kind of like trips to town.
Sure. Or here.
You go ahead.
What I thought we'd start with is I kind of had, that light bulb moment, which is extremely common sense. And you think, why hasn't this been the thing that I'm thinking of earlier? But really, the big thing is the virus enters through your face, mouth, nose, eyes. So basically, you got to keep it off your face. So I feel that, number one, I think everybody should be wearing a mask. Not that that's commonplace yet, but infected people can't spread as easily, and non-infected people, there's not much safety in a mask, especially the homemade ones, but there is some. So I think everybody should be wearing a mask. That's the first thing.
And it's, even if it doesn't help you,
yeah,
it helps others that you're not
having a moist. Well, how did Prime Minister Trudeau say moist talking?
Moist talking.
Everybody's making fun of that right now, but it's true, right? Some of us spit a little bit sometimes or whatever, or particles are just coming out from your mouth. So So basically prevent that, right? So, I do wear my neck warmers. I have rosacea, so I often wear them over my face, and I've been kind of training myself not to touch my face unless I've come in and washed my hands, because that's one of the two ways, right? Besides, and then social distancing is the other thing. If you can stay that, I think they're saying 6 feet apart now is ideal. So then that, I always think in horse terms, that's a horse length roughly. So stay that far away from other people, and you have your two main areas of communication of this disease, you have them taken care of.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. Makes good sense. I just want to see if I had the Twitch feed happening.
No problem.
Over the last week, I have learned much in terms of what's it called? Streamlabs and Twitch and all kinds of stuff I've been learning. So anyways, but that's a different topic. So that makes really good sense. Right. So when you go into where there's any people, keep your distance. use, even if it's just a homemade mask, or Carola has the thing she
Neck
does,
warmers. Yeah.
neck warmers. You just pull it up over your nose like you're a bank robber or something.
Yep.
People give you weird looks when you wear it, but that's okay, right? You're doing your best to keep yourself healthy and keep others healthy, because really your health is the most important thing you
Totally.
have, right?
Yep, totally.
If you have health, even if right now you lose a shit ton of money, which could happen, even if you lose money, if you have your health, you can go back, serve people, and then regain that money. So like health is way more important than money.
So on a trip to town, Allan usually goes because it's less stressful for him than it is me. And so he wears the neck warmer and he wears gloves. Now there's a lot of controversy about the gloves. And the big thing you have to do is either sanitize your hands every time you change locales. You know, if you come out of the grocery store, you either sanitize your gloves or you take them off and get a new pair for your next visit that you're gonna do. So
I usually take a little alcohol bottle.
Yeah,
Go
and
ahead.
spray it out and sanitize your hands, right?
Right.
So, and then do think about all the things that you normally touch, you know, once you get home, to wipe those all down just in case, right?
Exactly. So basically, it's just about keeping yourself healthy, keeping others healthy, taking those little precautions.
Yeah.
Even if you go out and nobody else is doing that, do it anyways.
That's
Do
right.
it for yourself,
Hey,
right?
we need to take care of ourselves. That's one thing I've learned over the last few years. I tend not to take care of myself. I take care of everybody else. So we need to take care of ourselves because we can't take care of anybody else if we're not healthy.
Well said, honey.
Yeah.
Well said. So, and let us tell you about the grocery shopping, because we got a system for grocery
we
shopping.
got something
All
going
right, you
now.
want to tell us?
So we decided, we've never done the online shopping for groceries, but we decided, and we used Superstore because they were pretty easy to use. I think Save on Foods does it as well, but they're pretty backlogged.
We live out of town as well,
Right.
so we
Yeah.
couldn't. Other services that may deliver wouldn't deliver to us,
Right.
because we live out of town,
Right.
and also I was going to say we're not the demographic, but we are the demographic.
We
probably.
probably are, yeah.
Anyways, yeah, but
Yeah.
we live out of town, so we can't use the delivery services.
So
generally.
what we first time, and one of Al's friends has been doing this for years, but we went on the website for the Superstore. We you can either browse through all their stuff, or you can put in the products you're looking for, and then it just comes up if they have it. And we ordered our first grocery trip last week, and so that was awesome. Like, you just get in your car, you drive to the store, you just park into a designated slot, text them that you're there, they come out, put your groceries in your car, hand you the receipt, off you go. So minimal contact with anybody else.
And then, so that I went and picked them up on Sunday. So I just basically they have 4 spots for that hour where they're going to deliver those orders in that hour. So from 11 to 12, in my case, we parked there, and there was other vehicles parked in those spots. That I was spot number 4, and then you just bring the stuff out, throw it in your trunk, and then off you go.
And then we take that little extra precaution. I made up a bleach solution. Whatever the bottle said was ideal for disinfecting. And basically, we wiped down pretty much everything that we bought.
We basically backed into the carport, had a table, and had like one side dirty, one side clean.
Yeah, just like that video that's gone around on Facebook of the doctor who's doing it, where he says you put everything on the dirty side, wipe it down, put it on the clean side, and then put it away. So we had a pretty good system. It didn't take very long. Vegetables like oranges, oranges aren't vegetables, like fruits and vegetables that can be immersed in water. We just put in a little bit of soapy water and then rinse them really well. Takes off pesticides and stuff like that too. So I was really impressed and happy with how smooth that all went, and just minimizes any worries that you may have.
Yeah. So we basically had this process where we processed all the groceries that came through. And then all the stuff that was clean that we could use, we just took into the kitchen. If other things were packaged in a way that we could only wipe the outside of the container down.
Or like onions where they have kind of a net thing.
Right.
We put that in the other room, right?
Right. And so the idea is it's going to sit in the other room for how many days?
At least 3 days.
At least 3 days. Yeah. And then after 3 days, the virus wouldn't be alive anymore. So then you could just proceed. And really, you peel your onions and chop them in a ways.
You wash them in such a little bit.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah. 3 days is, like, I worry because I've heard things as high as 27 days or 17 days, I think it was. So, but also, how likely is it that you're going to contract something from 17 days old? I'm not sure, but I guess just better safe than sorry.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the process we follow for groceries now, and we will into the future. And I believe, like, grocery shopping will change forever.
For us, anyway. Like, this is handy, and under, it was fast, it was easy, it was way faster than going shopping yourself.
Yeah.
And I could see you still having small trips, for the little things that you like, but honestly, it was slick.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's about the grocery shopping. Now, another thing that's an issue for us, it's not such a big issue because we have each other,
Yeah.
like in a social isolation thing. But when you think about people that are on their own, like we know a couple people just lost their spouses just recently. Okay, so they're in grieving, and then they have to be by themselves. They can't even go out and do the things that they
Yeah.
would enjoy. That's got to be tough,
It's
right?
gotta be tough. So lucky for Zoom or Facebook Lives or those things, because we can at least chat with each other. And what we've started doing, one thing that's been a lot of fun, we like to play canasta. We do so with the Rotary Club, and we found an online canasta game, and we've gotten together 3 or 4 times now with other people, played canasta. So we have 3 computers, one for each of us to have the game, and then one for Zoom. So it's like we're all sitting at the kitchen table together, and it's been a lot of fun. Actually, the feedback from other couples has been great. They enjoy it, and actually, one couple said, "From now on, we're not even going to have cards. We're just going to have 4 computers and play the game on the computer." And so it was good, and it at least gets you some social contact, right?
So the website we went to is called Play OK, and they had, I don't know, 50
Oh
games
gosh,
probably.
yeah, they got solitaire games, and they got card games, and yeah,
Right. So
board games. Yeah,
yeah,
sorry.
and that's okay. We selected Canasta, and Canasta, we can have it 2 players, just us two could play it. Obviously, we don't need the Zoom connection then. Or we can do 4 players, and then we have a computer on their computer connects to us via Zoom on their kitchen table, or sitting on our kitchen table,
Yeah,
and then we just have a nice chat.
yeah, it's
And
fun. Yeah.
yeah, it was good.
The only hard part is when they have better snacks than you.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
That's bad. They've got chocolate covered almonds,
Yeah,
and
and
we didn't.
us being healthy have dehydrated banana chips.
But anyways, we got by. It's all
Yeah.
right. It's not really a problem there.
So some other things that we are probably doing for the social life, like just to keep our days kind of going and keeping things happening, is Allan and I, we did before, but are still meditating every day. And you can just go on YouTube and Google 15-minute guided meditation, and there's all kinds of good meditations out there, right?
Definitely.
We also both have some sort of movement exercise. I do some stuff downstairs in our exercise room. Allan likes to do qigong.
Qigong.
Yeah, and so that
Punch
some
with
sort of
intense
movement.
eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
Fly
So
like a wild goose.
those are good things,
Oh
right?
yeah.
To keep your body, just because you got to stay moving. Exercise is always healthy. What else did I put down here? We have been watching movies at night or series. Been watching Drop Dead Diva, and that's been a really good show. And what I really like about it is it's very positive, and I really find for my anxiety, the more positive stuff I put in rather than negative, the better it is. So it's been fun. We're almost done now, so I don't know what we're going to do when we finish it.
We'll find something else.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, last night I said to my bride, I said, honey, we've done a lot of Netflix. How about we do some way? You tell me, you guide me, and I will pleasure you somehow.
Let's not go that personal tonight. We'll be okay.
No. But you know what her pleasure was? Get the dehydrator out. Let's figure out how to use it. So that was our pleasurable experience last night, dehydrating banana chips.
That's right. It was good.
So exciting.
And
not what I had planned,
no.
but she was happy. So
the other thing you can do is just get caught up on things, paperwork or house cleaning or decluttering that maybe you never have a chance to do. So it's a good time to get caught up on things too.
I was reading a little article from this guy, Robert Rohm is his name, Rohm. And then he has little tips that he offers. And he's a personality insight discover disc guy. But anyways, what he was saying, he said, this is kind of the time to mend your nets. Or if you're a Stephen Covey fan, then this is the time to sharpen the saw, right? You got some time now, figure out some things. That's what I'm doing. There was 3 books in my pile to read. I've read the first 2. Really good, very valuable. I'm halfway through the 3rd one. Then I have then I'm going to start some courses. And then the other thing that just recently I did is I figured out this Twitch thing, and Twitch is actually a gamer sort of a website, but you can use it as a musician. And I don't know if I call myself a musician. I'm a singer. So then what I did is I set up a channel on Twitch. It wasn't very difficult to do, really. So then every day I go and sing some songs on Twitch TV as well. And there's just amateur musicians who are on there. And like most of them will have guitars and drums and amps and mixers and that kind of thing. I have my voice.
Allan Friesen.
But anyways, I like to sing. And I thought, I'm just going to sing that way, if there's somebody that likes it as well or enjoys it, great. If not, well, I'm doing the same thing I'm doing every day, night everywhere, singing anyway. So yeah,
that's cool.
so it was a learning experience for me, but it's been a lot of fun, and I hope to kind of create a little community on Twitch of people that have similar interests and like different songs. The lyrics are what's really important to me, so I love good lyrics, and people, I don't know them all. I want to learn some more of them. Yes, so that's what we do with that.
Yeah.
Okay. And now another thing that is worth, at this time that you can do is maybe try out some different health habits too.
Yep.
Right? Isn't that a fair thing?
Totally.
If you could try out some different health habits and you get things that work better, you exercise at a different time of day, you try a different exercise thing, you sleep a little bit longer, you sleep a little bit less, right? This is really a kind of a time to refresh and kind of reset things right that way.
Notice what you enjoy or don't enjoy. Like I still kind of have a similar day to what I normally had. So, but there's some things, like especially the, people can't come to the farm. So, I'm kind of appreciating the things that I like more or don't like as much. So, I'm hoping somehow to maybe change some of those things when, this is all over.
Yeah. So one of the things that Carola has been that learned, she's always listening and trying to learn and grow and that kind of thing. She's awesome that way. And well, in many ways, including that way. she she learned this thing called
Buteyko breathing.
Buteyko breathing. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is does this thing have a chat? It does have a chat. I'm going to find this link and I'm going to put it right in the chat thing on this Buteyko breathing. And this Buteyko breathing.
Yeah, it's spelled Buteyko. So he has the fellow that I like to follow is Patrick McCune, and he has two websites. One is called Oxygen Advantage, and that's for athletic people. And then he has one called ButeykoClinic.com, and that's for it has a lot of success for people with asthma, anxiety, and just general breathing issues. So he has those two websites, and they both have a lot of information on them. And Buteyko breathing is basically kind of it's very easy, very common sense. However, most of us get caught in anxiety. When you're anxious or whatever, that you breathe differently. And if that happens long enough, you're going to have a habit of breathing in that poor manner. And so when you're anxious, you tend to take deep, short, shallow breaths. They're kind of quick. And those are things that aren't as healthy for our body. So with Buteyko breathing, the main things are that you breathe through your nose always. In fact, I started, and Allan now does as well. We tape our mouth at night. We put a piece of tape across, and the whole idea is that you don't open your mouth while you're breathing at night. And I sure have noticed that my sleep is so much better, and I don't wake up as often. And you started doing it because you noticed an improvement in me.
Yeah, I noticed that it was a good choice for her. So then I started doing it as well. And really, I was a little, that sounds a little woo-hooey there, honey. But if you think about it, your nose has all kinds of hairs in it that act as a filter. Yep. So breathing through your nose, you're filtering out a lot of stuff. And then when you blow your nose, you get rid of that or sneeze, right? Instead of it entering your body. Whereas your mouth doesn't have that,
there's
right?
No filters. And so there's all kinds of research. Your mouth gets dry, your throat gets dry. So if you ever are doing things and your throat is dry, you can probably think that you're breathing through your mouth instead of your nose. And so you have your nose breathing. Then you have that you want to always breathe into your rib cage. So if you put your thumb and your fingers around your lower rib cage, when you breathe in, you should feel that expand and contract rather than your chest coming up and down, which means that you're shallow breathing. And then the last thing is that you slow your breathing down. And the whole idea is most people over-oxygenate. The whole idea with Buteyko breathing is that you hyperventilate. You breathe too much. And so you get too much oxygen. And if you get too much oxygen, your body can't release it because it needs carbon dioxide to release the oxygen into your cells.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knew that? Yeah. And so there actually is another study called the Bohr effect. And I think it was done in about 1934 that also found the same thing. And Buteyko was started by a fella from Russia, a doctor. He was the head of the Sputnik whatever you call it, program. Thank you.
Sure.
Yes. And so he was the head respiratory guy there for that. Right. And so he found that we tend to hyperventilate. And so those deep breathing, nose breathing, and slow it down as much as you can, and especially shorter inhales, longer exhales.
Mm-hmm.
So that's,
One thing that I've been trying, and it works really, really well since Carola taught me this as well, is that inhale through your nose, exhale through your nose, and then pause
mini pauses.
5 seconds
Yeah.
before you inhale again. And then what I also like to do is when I'm in that pause, also work my diaphragm, like basically,
which is not part of the Buteyko.
That's not part of it,
yeah.
But I think that your diaphragm and your core strength is very helpful for singing. So I added that part myself. But
so that little mini pause, that's whenever you think you're hyperventilating. So some signs of hyperventilating might be a cough, might be a deep sigh. Like I find myself doing this, especially lately with COVID. So then you should do a mini pause. You should take a breath in, a breath out, and hold for 5. And that just kind of balances so that you have a little more carbon dioxide again. Yawning is another hyperventilation. Do you remember any other ones I told you? Yeah.
No.
Those are 3 of the main ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing I did want to mention, you remember about breathing through your nose is like a filter, right? And COVID-19 is kind of it's problems for people's lungs, right?
Yep, totally.
So if you think about that, if you breathe through your mouth, you breathe it right in, everything through your mouth, and huge volumes, right? Yep. Whereas if you breathe through your nose, you can breathe very, very quietly with very small volumes.
You're having less volume of air, so you're bringing in less.
Right, because that Patrick Gent, the Ireland guy, the Irish guy, very, very smart man. He also talks about if you're in an environment where people are sneezing or there's COVID in the air, let's call it that you breathe very shallowly, move yourself away from that source of COVID, and then also breathe very shallowly. But breathe through your nose. Yeah. With the minimum breaths you can take, not shallow, but deep.
If you listen to the link, which is a really good little talk on using Buteyko breathing for the coronavirus or for other things, it's really good, and it talks about how, like with the Buteyko method, you want to actually breathe so that you have a little bit of oxygen hunger, and so when you breathe like that, you're taking in way less air, and so if there's any disease in the air, you're taking in way less of that as well.
True.
The other cool thing about nose breathing is, I guess, this is also new to me, but we create nitric oxide in our sinuses. And so, and one thing that you could do to create nitric oxide is hum on your exhale. So kind of like, the meditations that have mantras like or things like that. When you do that, you create nitric oxide. And guess what nitric oxide does? It opens up your veins so that you deliver your blood and your oxygen better throughout your body. So it's kind of interesting and it's different. Like it's common sense, and yet most of us probably don't follow it.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm sold. I think it makes really good sense. The video links that I put on there, one is just to a series of podcasts, and the second is the YouTube direct link for the one that I listened to. That
the coronavirus one, right? Yeah. So it's a good one. It's really good. It's about 20 minutes long, I think.
No, about 40, but.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it's pretty long, but it is extremely informative. He really gives a lot away in that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, anyways, and how easy is it to try that? Right?
Yeah.
Super simple, right? Just breathe, close your mouth and breathe through your nose more. That's really it. Totally. And I'm surprised how quiet I can breathe, right? Really. And then further to that, the other thing that I thought was interesting is since I've been taping my mouth to force me to breathe through my nose during sleep, then my throat feels good in the morning. Normally my throat is very dry because I'm breathing through my mouth and I'm drying it out that way, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. So check it out. Challenge you to at least listen to the Corona one. I think it's a really good one.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, what else do we want to talk about, honey?
Well, we're getting down to just a few things here. The other thing that I have used for my anxiety, and I know that it does work, not a medical thing really either, but tapping. I don't know how many of you have heard of tapping. I follow Nick and Jessica Ortner from the tappingsolution.com, and they have just come out with a app for your phone or your iPad, I guess, or tablets. And so they have a lot of free resources right now for anxiety, stress, coping with the diagnosis of COVID, all those types of things. And I think when we finish this off, when we're done, we're going to finish off letting you listen to one of their tapping things. When you tap, it's been proven that it helps relieve anxiety, and they kind of have some spots There's the karate chop. So when you listen to this and they start talking, just so you kind of know, you'll do some tapping here on your karate chop part. Then you'll tap just at the top of your eyebrow, top corner, then at the side of your eye, under your nose, under both lips, collarbone, under the arm, and top of the head. Those would be the spots. And really what tapping does is you basically get to air your grievance, air your anxiety. Oh, I have so much anxiety and it's driving me crazy and it's non-ending, and I turn on the TV and it's there, so you can, as you're tapping, you can totally rant about your anxiety, and then you try and reframe
so you release it that way.
You're allowing it to be there because it is there, right? And there's nothing that you can't push it away, because the harder you push those things away, the more they're there.
So is it kind of like meditating, where you just let the thought come, but you just don't engage with it? You just let it go by and focus on your breathing?
Yeah. Lots of times with tapping, the first thing you do is you rate, and it'll be in this app that we're going to let run at the end. You rate how you're feeling. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is your anxiety? 7, 8, 9, and then you do the tapping round, and then you'll rate it again and see if you feel better. And if you don't feel better, you should do it again. Quite often what I found, I remember doing it with our daughter one time, and really quickly she's like, well, that's not a problem, but what about this? And so she'd already overcome the first problem and already found the next issue for that problem. So sometimes while you're doing this, you're going to start thinking, but and you're going to have all these other thoughts. So those are the next ones that you're going to tap on. Okay.
Interesting.
And so we'll let one run after, and I guess they can't really see it, but if you go to the link, is the tappingsolution.app.link.
Well, we could put the link in, but I couldn't add it on this computer because this is a laptop, not a
right. We can only put in the link for the app, and then from the app you can find
but if
free resources.
Yeah. Do we have that on here?
No, you can't. You don't have. I don't think you do. Do you?
No. Okay. All right.
You have it in your email.
I have it in my email.
Yeah, because I sent you.
Oh, wait. Okay.
Sorry, guys, leaving a little dead space here.
Okay, here we go. So.
Oh, it goes to start tapping. What if you go to that?
Well, how about if I
just go to start tapping?
Start tapping.
Yeah. And then can you copy? Does
it
have
I can copy
address
that
there?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we'll see if that works.
I think this should work. So then basically I'll put in the chat here this thing, and it's a link that you can put an app on your phone about the tapping.
And right now it's free. I don't know if it's going to be free in the future, but it is free right now. And there's a lot of free resources about different types of anxiety in relation to coronavirus, or if like maybe losing your job or those kinds of things too.
Did you want to do like a little screen share about that doctor, the guy from Ireland, with him doing the video?
Yeah, that's a long one, but we could watch a little of it. Or
okay, is there a specific part that's really important?
I don't know right off the top.
Oh, hello. What is that?
It's a text on my phone, because I have my phone here for the.
Okay, you know what we'll do? We'll put this on. We'll do a little screen share, and then at least you'll see the link.
And for the next 20 minutes or so,
there you go, 20 minutes.
I'm going to go through all of the breathing exercises as it would pertain to respiratory conditions. I know our motive for putting this together is based on the current COVID crisis. Coronavirus, this is not the first time it has been around. We did have a family strain of this back in 2003, 2004. There was research back then, published in 2005, looking at nitric oxide and how it could inhibit the replication of coronavirus. And back then it was SARS. COVID-19 is also a coronavirus. COVID stands for coronavirus disease 19. Now, a number of things that I'm going to go through. One is, what would you do when your breathing gets labored? Number two, how can you breathe to improve oxygen uptake in the blood? So if you do have issues with your lungs, what's the best way to optimize ventilation? That if your lungs are compromised, and even if you do have a pre-existing condition, what's the best way to enhance alveolar ventilation? Another aspect that we will look at is measuring your breath hold time. and also then practices that you can bring into your daily life. I've been using these breathing exercises for almost 20 years for people with respiratory complaints. We've had many, many people over the years with asthma, COPD, bronchiectasis, sarcoidosis, different lung issues, and of course with that, individuals with anxiety, panic disorder as well. The first thing that I would say to you is that in order to get an idea of respiratory function, your breath hold time during rest provides you with a good indicator. If there is an issue with the lungs, your breath hold is generally reduced. The length of time that you hold your breath for is not going to be as high as it should be. So one of the symptoms of COVID-19 is breathlessness. And since 1975, researchers have known that using breath hold time, you can measure the degree of breathlessness. There is a feedback, of course, from the brain to your lungs, but also from your lungs back to the brain. If your lungs are bronchoconstricted, or if your breathing is not optimal, it will reflect in a lower breath hold time. So what I would say to you is keep an eye on your breath hold time. And the most important breath hold time that you would measure is the one that you measure first thing in the morning. As soon as you wake up, sit on the bed, allow your breathing to recover, and measure your breath hold time. If your breathing is labored, your breath hold time is reducing. An optimal breath hold time will, of course, be 40 seconds. Does everybody have it? No. Functional breathing tends to be when your breath hold time is above 25 seconds. And suboptimal breathing is when your breath hold time is less than 25 seconds. So in order to measure your breath hold time, it's not the maximum length of time that you hold your breath for, but it's the length of time that you can hold your breath for comfortably until you feel the first definite desire to breathe, or until you feel the first involuntary movement of your breathing muscles. So to measure your breath hold time, or control pause from Buteco, bolt score from Oxygen Advantage, you would need a watch with a timer or a second hand. You take a normal breath in through your nose, a normal breath out through your nose. You hold your nose and you time it in seconds until you feel the first definite desire to breathe. Corresponding with that, you may feel that there's an involuntary contraction of the diaphragm breathing muscle,
People know now, right?
or you may feel that there's some tension in the throat, or you may feel the first definite desire to breathe.
Okay.
So your breath hold time.
Anyways, that is
the link for the Buteco method. It's called Coronavirus Patrick McCown for free practical exercises. Good, very good video.
all right. So now, how do we get out of the screen share thing again? Do, 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 do. Huh. Oh, stop share. All right. Okay, there we go.
Hi, guys.
Got it back. Okay, so then, anyways, an interesting idea. This is not exactly related to the same thing, but remember where you were showing me that little video the other day of that occupational health nurse gal, and she's doing the tapping on your back?
Yeah, that's a good thing to learn too.
Basically, I thought it was quite interesting and makes sense. If there's a buildup in your lungs that causes problems with your lungs functioning normally, then the idea was you just kind of go sort of like this down to about this far, and then the idea was that would loosen up things and then allow your lungs to function properly, and then you were all good. So that was kind of what that was about. So that was good. You know, it's a great time to just try some different health things and see how they work for you.
Yeah.
You know what I thought of the other day that would be a wonderful Google product? That would be Googleicious.
What's that?
Hemi. Health.
It's like my truck?
No. Health Evaluating Metrics Interface.
Ah.
Yeah. And so basically it's a little implant that has
An implant.
Implant, yeah.
There are some people who are going to not like that.
9,782 data points that it measures in your body, and then displays that either just for you, like a heads-up display, or for other people to see it. You choose whether they see it or not.
You should talk to Elon Musk. Or Bill Gates.
Or Bill Gates. It'd be Google-licious, right? That you could go and oh, if I eat this, look what it does with this, right?
Yeah.
And if I
actually that control pause,
Mhm.
you're supposed to be able to check your food and stuff. Like
check your food.
Yeah, check your food. So you do your normal stuff for a control pause.
Yes.
And then you'll eat the food, and then 20 minutes later you do another control pause, and if it decreased, then that food might not be so good for you.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
So who needs chips in their bodies?
Well, there you go. All right. Anyways, I just, it's, you have to experiment to figure out what works for you, right? Which means that is like one of the 1,000 ways to kiss the earth. Okay. Maybe my way to kiss the earth isn't the same as your way, but that's okay. It's still good. You can have your way, I can have my way, and we're all good, right?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so are we talked about everything we want to talk about?
So how much time do we have left? Oh, we have quite a lot of time. Did you do you want to play this tapping thing first? I think it's a good one to do.
Is it? All right. I'll sing a song.
Yeah.
I'll sing a song. We'll put this tapping thing on, and then we'll just play the tapping thing on until it's done, or we're done listening to it.
It'll play till it's done.
Is it? Yeah, how long's that play?
It's 15 minutes. So.
15 minutes. Yep. Okay, cool. So that is that one we sent you the link for as well.
This is the one from the app, the tapping solution app, and the one tapping that we're doing is called Corona Stress. Oh, my phone just. Corona Stress, feeling safe and secure.
Perfect. Okay, so you know what song I'm going to sing?
What song are you going to sing?
Oh man, it reminds me of when we first met.
Ooh.
At Chin Lakes, and we were standing there in the sun, and it was feeling good, the sun all over and the water, and it was nice, and we were standing beside each other, and just like this, our hands just kind of touched just a little bit. Oh, it was so sweet. And it reminds me of this song here by Etta James. Okay, it's a hard song, but I'm going to try my best on it. At last, my love has come along. My lonely days are over, and life is like a song. At last, the skies above are blue. My heart was wrapped up in clover. The night that I saw you, I found a dream that I could speak to, a dream that I can call my own. I found a thrill to press my cheek to, a thrill like I have never known. Oh, you smiled, and then the spell was cast. For here we are in heaven, and you are mine at last.
Nice. Very nice.
Ooh, applause even. That's awesome.
One audience member.
Yeah, exactly. Fans went crazy over that one.
Very good.
Okay, so now we're going to play this tapping thing, and we're going to play it for 15 minutes.
Yeah, however long.
And then we're going to be done. If you have any comments, suggestions, ideas, you want to be a guest.
Things on how you are dealing with COVID.
We've told you how we're dealing with how we're
maybe you have some suggestions for us that will help us.
If you know the answer, now's the time to say. Okay, now go.
Okay, here we go.
Welcome to the Crisis Support First Aid Kit, feeling safe and secure tapping meditation. Please take note, if you are experiencing significant stress or trauma, please consult a physician or a licensed mental health professional. These tapping meditations are provided only as education and information for stress reduction. As I introduce you to the concepts of this tapping meditation, simply listen and tap gently on the side of the hand to begin the process. If you've listened to this intro before, feel free to use the skip intro feature that you'll find below. Some of the symptoms of extreme stress include increases in pulse, breathing, and blood pressure, all things that are meant to support us to react quickly to danger. the body does what it knows to save our lives, mobilizing ourselves to a perceived threat. This physical reaction gives us the ability to fight, flee, or freeze to save ourselves. But now, we are having these physical reactions when we are safe and simply thinking about something that feels dangerous. And oftentimes, the body gets stuck in the stress response, like a car that won't shift out of overdrive. If we aren't able to shift back into a relaxed state relatively quickly, problems can arise and result in a variety of chronic symptoms like increased anxiety, restlessness, exhaustion, stomach issues, aches and pains, and so much more. The first thing to do is to make sure that you are in a safe place. As we begin to heal from a recent or past tragedy, it may help to keep in mind that it is a process. More than likely, there are many aspects to regaining your footing in your day-to-day world. It may take time to adjust and figure out your new normal, making small and big adjustments along the way. Use this tapping meditation to begin to shift the anxiety and stress so you can allow yourself to take healthy steps towards healing and recovery. Let's begin now by tuning into our body and the thoughts and feelings you may be having about feeling safe and secure
Nope,
right
we're just
now.
tuning in to see how
You
much
may
stress
feel
you're
a
feeling.
tightness in your stomach, chest, or head. There may be a part of you that's feeling anxious, scared, or vulnerable. That's okay. Just notice what's going on with you and take a moment to mark the intensity in the app on the 0 to 10 scale.
So they have a intensity scale here, so I'm just going to mark my intensity and read it, and then they'll do that again after the
And now
tapping.
let's take a nice deep breath in and out. Continue to tap on the side of the hand and repeat after me, either in your mind or out loud. Even though I might be feeling a little scared and anxious, I honor how I feel, and I give my body permission to relax now. Even though part of me is still feeling shocked and stressed, I honor all of these feelings and I'm open to knowing that I am safe. Even though I'm experiencing this tension in my body, I accept how I feel and I relax into knowing that I am safe now. Tapping on the eyebrow point, we'll begin by focusing on how we feel, telling the truth so we can clear the intensity with tapping. Repeating after me all these feelings. Side of the eye, all these sensations in my body. Under the eye, I've been through a lot. Under the nose, I've been struggling. Under the mouth, and that's okay. Collarbone, it's hard for me to relax. Under the arm, and that's okay. Top of the head, I move at my own pace. Tapping again on the eyebrow point, I'll guide you through the points. Don't worry about saying anything out loud here. As you continue to tap on the eyebrow point, simply tune into any thoughts and feelings around feeling safe and secure. Notice if there are any parts of you that are feeling anxious, vulnerable, or afraid. Notice those parts of you and how you can relax your body even as you become aware of those different parts. Moving to the side of the eye, notice how the anxiety and fear feels in your body. Focus on what's causing the most worry and fear. Simply be present with your thoughts, knowing that there is no right or wrong thought. Allow yourself to be aware of whatever comes up as you give your body permission to relax. Tapping under the eye, is there a story you tell yourself or a movie you see as to why it's been hard for you to feel safe and secure? Notice it now. Observe those thoughts without being fully engaged in them. It's like watching a movie from a distance, feeling present, safe, and grounded. Under the nose, any fear or worry that you are experiencing is just your mind trying to keep you safe. But what happened is in the past. Right now and right here, you are safe. Thank your mind for always trying to keep you safe. It is now safe to relax. Under the mouth, notice what it's like to have any lingering thoughts or resistance around this worry. Simply notice what comes up as you breathe deeply and relax more and more. Collarbone point. Feeling centered and grounded, begin to reflect back on the worry, anxiety, or fears from a place of safety and security, maybe with a little self-compassion and understanding. You have been doing the best you can, and things are only getting better. Tapping under the arm, think about how far you've come. You are doing better than you give yourself credit for. Feel a sense of pride and self-compassion. Things haven't been easy, but you are resilient. Tapping on the top of the head. Notice how you're more safe and secure now than you realized. Imagining how you would approach whatever you're now facing without the anxiety and fear. What would it be like? What does it feel like in your body to experience more love and self-compassion? There's nowhere to arrive to, no state to achieve. You simply accept all of your feelings, all of the ups and downs, knowing that you are enough and you are safe. Tapping on the eyebrow point, repeat after me in your mind or out loud, feeling safer and more secure now. Side of the eye, right now and right here. Under the eye, I am okay. Under the nose, I am healing at my own pace. Under the mouth, feeling safer with each breath. Collarbone, I honor my unique journey. Under the arm, I move at my own pace. Top of the head, feeling grounded, safe, and secure. Eyebrow, I honor all my feelings. Side of the eye, I honor how far I've come. Under the eye, every day I feel safer and safer. Under the nose, I am more powerful than I realized. Under the mouth, I have courage and self-compassion. Collarbone, I am safe. Under the arm, I am safe. Top of the head, feeling safe and grounded now. As you stop tapping, take a nice deep breath in and exhale. Tune back into your body and notice how you feel. Go ahead and mark on the app your current level of intensity on the 0 to 10 scale.
What you can do now?
I'm gonna have a try and rate it.
Ooh, you went from like 7 to 2.
I did.
So
Any
that
shift
exercise
towards
made you
zero
feel that much better.
means
You did.
you're heading in the right direction. If there's no change or if the intensity is higher than you'd like, repeat the tapping and include any thoughts or feelings that you have around feeling safe. You can change some of the words as you tap along with the tapping meditation again. Once you realize that in this moment you are safe, you can relax into knowing that you're grounded and secure. From a sense of safety and security, your whole body can relax. And once you're relaxed and centered, it becomes easier to make healthier choices. Until we tap together again, This is Jessica Ortner. Take care and keep tapping.
So Jessica Ortner, with her soft, calming voice,
very
goes
nice,
through, gives you these suggestions, these tips. There's the tapping part, which is supposed to be some kind of release, right?
It's there's a proven thing. There's actually
Chinese meridian type stuff?
I don't know. There was a fellow named Roger Callahan,
Yeah.
who was the first person who I understand found tapping to be something that was useful. And there's a few other points. There's one here that you tap on that line that kind of goes between your ring finger and your baby finger. So there's other parts, but this is kind of their main points.
There's no downside to it. If you spent 15 minutes listening to a calming, soothing voice giving you good suggestions, even if the tapping part didn't work, there's still huge value in
totally
that, right?
There is. Yeah. And I should mention one thing. So this was the tapping solution with Nick and Jessica Ortner.
Yeah.
I believe we have a tapping practitioner in Raymond. I think Roxy Wright from Heart Haven Farms does tapping. So if you needed to, find somebody a little more local, I'm pretty sure she does that.
I don't know if you can see that. Oh yeah, you can kind of see it.
Had that maybe.
It would basically go and light up the spots that you were supposed to be tapping as you were supposed to tap them,
so it helps
which is kind of cool. Yeah. Can I share that letter story? Is that okay? The letter story from the other day there, where I kind of gave you a meltdown.
I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll start.
Before we start, I wanted to just put one more plug in.
Yeah, go.
The other person who I learned Bateco from was, I believe her name is Lorraine Clifford from Calgary. And so we did a course on Bateco breathing, and she's very good too. So if you wanted a local resource, she did a really good job, working with me through her little class. Her website's called Breathway, and I'm just seeing if her name comes up here anywhere. I don't see it at this moment. Okay. So anyway, if you wanted that information, and you could definitely message Allan, and he'll get it to you.
Sure, I'm pretty easy to reach. So send me something, and I'll send you back that if you were interested in that information. That was a practitioner who she actually took a course from.
I took the Bateco breathing course from her. Yes.
So let me tell you one of the things that has caused Carola some stress. The other day we went and got the mail. We live out of town, so we have to go get the mail. So we get the mail. I bring it all in. I open the mail with my gloves on, and then read what I have to read. Take the stuff. Go file it away somewhere. In 3 days, it's going to be all good. But the next morning, I think, I should write an email to that guy. I'm going to go get that letter so that I can write an email. So I go grab the letter, bring it back to the kitchen, and then
after he told me that he was, putting it away and not touching it for at least 3 days. Put it all over the kitchen table.
Things went bad right there. I brought the letter up, and Carola just had like a meltdown.
And isn't just, honestly, if I'm going to defend myself in this meltdown,
that's okay.
It isn't just the letter, it's just everything else, right? Sure. Being aware that this stupid COVID can be transmitted and that you can carry it around. I don't think mail is a big carrier, but it was more of the idea, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. We don't know anything about this stupid disease. And so
her attitude is that everything is infected.
If it's not from my home.
Unless she's cleaned it right then and there, it's infected, right? Yeah. Which is kind of like, I teach firearm safety courses. Every gun is loaded. If you always go with that premise, every gun is loaded, and it's kind of the same thing, right? Yeah. That you're always using those precautions because you believe that to be the case. So anyways, I brought up my infected piece of paper, slammed it down on the kitchen table, typed my email, and then it was like, then she said, were you wearing gloves when you brought that up?
Did you touch your phone? Did you touch, and I don't know how much it can transfer again and again. I don't know. And no, I don't think they know, right? I'm sure it's not common. It's just the idea.
Anyways, I really wanted to lie then, but I didn't. I said, no, I didn't. I'm sorry. Okay. So, anyways, but she's very sensitive to that. So I have to respect that she's sensitive to that and try and make her feel comfortable.
We're pretty lucky because we live on a farm and we are able to isolate quite well, a lot more than probably the average person. So, it's good and it's bad because you kind of get caught in that total isolation thing too, right? And you're suspicious of anything that comes into your life. And a lot of people have to go out and they have to deal with a lot more than we do, for sure. And I respect and admire those people, and I give them my thanks, especially healthcare workers and restaurant owners and grocery stores, because without them going out every day, we would be at a loss.
Very appreciative for those. For
Thank
the
you
rest
very
of us
much.
that don't have to put ourselves in harm's way to look after our customers, that's my situation.
Yeah.
Then I'm not doing it, right? I'm looking after my customers in a way that meets their need without putting them at risk or me at risk, right? But I can do that because I can do Zoom or phone or those kind of things and get things resolved, and scan and emails and all those kind of things that I can do.
Yeah.
But other people
Not
can't,
everybody
right?
can.
Yeah.
Physical jobs
Yeah.
need to be there.
Exactly. And so for the folks that put themselves in harm's way to look after us, then we're very grateful for them. Yeah.
Very grateful. And we pray for everybody every night.
So I think that pretty much concludes our show.
It does. And
yes.
Yeah, thank you for putting up with us for the last hour. That was awesome.
Yeah. And send any comments you have to us. We'd love to respond to you, connect with you. If you want to play Canasta online, let us know.
Yeah,
we'll try
too.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And for sure, if you have some other ideas about dealing with COVID-19, we'd love to hear them.
Exactly. We're giving you kind of the stuff that we figured out is the best practices right now.
For us. Yep.
Keep well, stay safe.
Well, thank you.